what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamal DeFore here once again, here to recap this latest episode of Empire. Now, this episode was actually more so like a filler episode, more kind of like setting up the story for the next few episodes of the season, so we're going to brush through this one real quick. Cookie wakes up and finds all these gifts being sent to her that's all made out of gold and shit, and she figures out that it's all coming from Lucius, and she's pretty much just paying the dust because she's trying to get away from this man and she's not trying to take anything from him. Booba Kitty is getting frustrated with all these responsibilities of being a mother, so she's trying to hire a nanny. Lucius walks in and saying, "It ain't finna happen like that, bro. We ain't finna hire nobody else having these crazy people coming to my house." Then she figures out that, well, I'm not gonna be able to have no nanny, so the mama tries to say she wants to volunteer to be a nanny, and Cookie quickly put a halt to that because she said, "Oh, I was able to raise Dwight on my own. You also tried to drown Dwight on your own, so there'll be none of that." Jamal does this radio interview for with Angela Yee from the Breakfast Club, and gets to with this guy who's talking about this woke program with inner city kids, and he was basically trying to diagnose Jamal with PTSD, and Jamal wasn't too much having. He's trying to say he wasn't a victim, so they invited him to do this little summit thing, and he decided to agree. And what ended up happening was that Cookie comes and decides to, oversee this whole event that apparently Lucius done volunteered his damn services for. Then she reads him for filth because she's saying, somebody like you doesn't know what kind of pain that these kids are, going through. If something happens to them, are you going to be the one to bail them out? Do you come from a broken home? Like, you don't understand what they have to deal with. Cookie laid down the rules, okay? And then she just walked off, and the old dude couldn't do nothing but just kind of scratch his head. We get more flashbacks about how Cookie and Lucius met each other on the corner, and Cookie thought the first time they met was when he was rapping, but then we kind of figure out later on that, he'd been kind of eyeing her for a long time, and she had like this little boyfriend who was like the prim and proper, perfect boyfriend who was, off to Yale and, was trying to settle down, have the family and kids and the house and all that other stuff. But Cookie was kind of like, that's all great and all, but, I still have these aspirations to do music or to be something to do with music. And so Lucius was over there just kind of plotting just to kind of lay himself in the right place at the right time to get Cookie's attention. Next, we see Hakeem in the studio with old boy whose name I can never remember, who crashed his wedding. And he's in there with the girl that he's, trying to promote, and there's these other two people. And while they're trying to discuss the song that they're working on with each other, I guess the other guy is kind of checking the other girl out, kind of looking at her, bend over and all the other stuff. And I guess the dude caught that he was doing that. He got up politely, went over, and gave him a 1-2 hit, wound up Hayukin punch to the jaw, and then proceeded to sit back down. He was like, he'll be all right. I was like, dang, he's straight up knocked that dude out for, well, I guess he was like, he ain't gonna be looking at my sister, and you got Hakeem kind of looking like, oh shit. Lucius tries to call Jamal out to bring him back onto the stage just to kind of get him back in the swing of things since his accident, but Jamal yet again panics, and we discover that he is actually going through PTSD as to where like all the flashing lights are kind of bringing his mind back to the moment where there were all the flashing lights when Frida came and shot him in the thigh. What was it, the thigh? The side? I think it was the side. And the old dude from the summit, who's a part of this woke program, comes over to talk to Cookie and Lucius about, the whole event, just to thank them and whatnot. And for some reason, you can kind of tell that Cookie, even though she had read him for filth earlier, was kind of into him. She was kind of, giving him the look up and down. I don't know if he is the actual boyfriend that she used to have, or if she's just reminding him of that boyfriend now that Lucius ain't shit. So we'll just kind of see where this goes. They finally discover that the little teddy bear that had been planted in the room for the baby is actually a monitor and has a video camera that has been monitoring Lucius and Kitty this whole time. And they found it out, I guess, by when they tried to place the baby monitor, it was giving some kind of electronic feedback. So they finally discover who it is. And in the midst of that, we discover that I believe Tyreek's mom was pulling him away from the whole little cipher that Lucius had going on back in the day when Lucius and Cookie first met, and saying that that's the worst thing that ever happened to us and this, that, and the fourth. So they just kind of open up the door to more of their backstory line. So we're going to see where that goes as well. And lastly, the episode closes with yet another incident or example of unnecessary brutality from the police. We got Andre coming home, said he's going to pack the rest of his stuff from him and Rhonda's home. He's sitting in his own car outside his own house, where these two police officers ask him, like, do they know anything about there being robberies in the area? And it looked like they panned over to this other older white lady who looks like she was the one that was trying to call in the order just because she sees a black man outside, hauling stuff inside of his own car. But they try to say something smart to him and say, do you have any ID, yo? And he's like, oh, okay, so we really about to go there? Well, it's inside of my car, yo. And so the other guys, so the police officer says, oh, you trying to get smart? And then they tackle him to the ground and say he's resisting. I'm like, so you can be smart with me, but when I get the same thing back to you, oh, suddenly I'm resisting and it's a problem. See? All right. But that was Empire this week, y'all. Wasn't really too much to it, but I decided to discuss it nonetheless. So we'll be back later on tonight for RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 2. So stay tuned. And make sure you guys, if you haven't already, check out my review of American Horror Story Roanoke's Nightmare that just posted. That was a fun episode to talk about, so make sure y'all go check that out. If you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at Jamar84, JAMR84. All my links will be in the description box below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.